So have you ever wondered why perfectly financially literate people who know exactly what they should be doing with their money, still completely struggle to build true wealth? Well, welcome. This is a continuous series for Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if you've not watched the previous chapter video, so link is available in the description and I button, requesting to watch first before watching this video. Okay, so today we're doing a really fascinating psychological deep dive into Chapter 7, Overcoming Obstacles, to figure out exactly what holds us back.
Because it really begs this massive question, right? Why do financially literate people still struggle? Knowing the difference between an asset and a liability, that's just not enough. It's actually our internal psychology that ends up paralyzing us. You can have literally all the financial education in the world, but if your mindset is actively working against you, you're just not going to cross the finish line.
Today, we're going to break down 5 distinct roadblocks that prevent financial success: fear of losing, financial cynicism, the laziness trap, bad money habits, and costly arrogance. Let's dive right in.
Roadblock number 1, fear. Specifically, the phobia of losing money.
Here's the truth. Absolutely everyone, even the absolute richest, most successful investors on the planet, experiences the fear of losing money. Having fear isn't the obstacle. The real obstacle is how you choose to handle it. A poor mindset plays it safe. It completely avoids failure. But by avoiding failure, you're actually actively avoiding success. A wealthy mindset, on the other hand, takes that failure and uses it as inspiration to learn, to adapt, and eventually to win. It's all about flipping a negative into a powerful positive.
There's this incredible quote. For most people, the reason they don't win financially is because the pain of losing money is far greater than the joy of being rich. To put that into perspective with a real-life example, just think about the historical story of the Alamo in Texas. They took a devastating historical failure and literally turned it into a massive, multi-million-dollar tourist destination. They used a painful loss to inspire an incredible victory.
Okay, moving on to roadblock number 2, financial cynicism and playing the what-if game.
You know exactly how this goes. Personal doubts just paralyze us from acting. What if the economy crashes? What if this doesn't go as planned? This perfectly ties into a concept called noise. The legendary investor Peter Lynch coined this term to describe all those external warnings from friends, family, and the media that just breed doubt and panic. For instance, there's a real-life story of a guy named Richard. He found a completely safe, highly profitable real estate deal. But after listening to the noise from a neighbor, who, by the way, had never even invested himself, buyer's remorse kicked in. Richard completely backed out. He let cynicism steal a massive opportunity for financial freedom.
The fix for this is actually pretty simple. Cynics criticize and winners analyze. When cynics hear about real estate, they immediately complain, I don't want to fix toilets. But winners, they analyze that exact same situation. They look at the numbers, realize they can just hire a property manager to fix the toilets, and they see all this amazing cash flow and freedom-generating potential that the cynic totally missed.
All right, roadblock number 3, the laziness trap, which is also known as the busy trap.
Now, laziness isn't always just chilling on the couch all day. Surprisingly, it so often disguises itself as staying constantly busy. We bury ourselves in work or chores or watching TV as a subconscious way to avoid facing intimidating financial decisions. And listen, our words dictate our reality. The ultimate lazy phrase is, "I can't afford it." The second you say that, your mental computer just shuts down. You give up. But contrast that with the proactive, wealthy mind that asks, "How can I afford it?" That simple little question opens up possibilities. It forces your brain to get to work finding creative financial solutions.
So what's the actual cure for this kind of laziness? Believe it or not, it's a little bit of greed, a healthy desire. You have to ask yourself, what's in it for me? Like, what would your life actually look like if you were completely financially free? A healthy dose of desire is the essential spark you need to overcome guilt, get yourself off that endless treadmill of just staying busy, and finally break out of the laziness trap.
That brings us to our 4th obstacle, bad money habits, and the big question of who gets paid first.
It's crazy, but our daily routines and deeply ingrained behaviors dictate our financial destiny way more than our formal education ever will. A poor habit is taking your paycheck and paying everyone else first. Your landlord, the credit card company, the government. And the result? You're left with absolutely nothing. You basically become a financial weakling. The rich habit? You pay yourself first. That one action forces you to build your assets, and it develops immense mental strength.
So how do you actually implement this in real life? Keep your expenses low and build your assets first.
Now, if you pay yourself first and you suddenly come up short for your bills, do not dip into your savings. Instead, use that intense financial pressure to inspire your inner genius to find new, creative ways to make more money. If you let your creditors push you around, you become that 98-pound weakling. But if you hold your ground and pay yourself first, you are building some serious financial muscle.
And finally, roadblock number 5, costly arrogance and using it to hide ignorance. Arrogance is incredibly costly because ego is so frequently used as a smokescreen to hide a sheer lack of financial knowledge. When people don't understand something about money, they usually bluster and fake it rather than just admitting they need to learn. Like the saying goes, what I know makes me money, what I don't know loses me money. True financial geniuses are actually really humble. When they hit a blind spot, they admit their ignorance and immediately seek out an expert or a book on the subject.
So let's bring all 5 of these obstacles together to master your psychology. Because technical financial knowledge, knowing how to read a balance sheet or pick a stock, is completely useless if your internal psychology is actively working against you. You absolutely must conquer your fear, silence the cynical noise, cure your laziness with a little desire, build that habit of paying yourself first, and completely drop the arrogance. Which brings us to our final thought. Will you let your doubts cripple you, or will you let your financial genius shine? The power is entirely in your hands to break down these mental roadblocks and start building true, lasting wealth. Now, the very next chapter is absolutely crucial because it takes everything we've learned and lays out the exact actionable steps to get started on your wealth-building journey. So make sure to subscribe to the Tatparya channel for the next chapter update. Thank you for watching video. I believe you understand about this chapter and implement in your life. Comment your thoughts about this video.